Yeah, hi there. These comments are for YD, and I am Michael, the founder, owner, and the materials writer for all of your lessons at the TOEFL online course, the 7-step system to pass a TOEFL IBT. You're also one of my students at California State University, San Bernardino, and you completed independent writing practice test number 1. All right, so let's take a look at what you said. And it looks like you have a pretty solid organization here. Let me go ahead and make some spaces so I can do some editing here. Let's see. Okay, so you have your introductory paragraphs, and I'm going to make this a little bit bigger so it'll be easier to see. All right, here we go. Okay, so first of all, I like the thesis here. You say, however, studying hard, having new and useful information, and being honest are the most important qualities that good roommates should have. And then, in the body of the paragraph, you begin to restate each of those ideas. You say, first of all, when students choose roommates, they need to think about whether or not the roommates study hard. So that connects back to your first point. In the next paragraph, you say, in addition to studying hard, and I like how you use that transition there, you say, being informationful is another important quality that good roommate should own. And that connects back, it looks like, to the second idea. Then the last one, you have last but not least, good roommates should have the quality of being honest. And then you explain that, and then you have your conclusion. So from an organizational standpoint, the essay is very strong. Now let's take a look at your use of details. You have in your next paragraph, when you're studying hard, your roommate is playing computer games with 2 other friends. They laugh loudly. Maybe they'll invite you. At this situation, nobody can focus on studying. So you give an example of why it is important to study hard. Your next paragraph, it looks like, what do you have? He or she can give you some correct advances, figure out which classes are fit you now and which professors are careful, knowledgeable, and friendly. So that's a good example there. In your next paragraph, you talk about how it's important to be honest and about how your roommate should not eat things in the refrigerator that belong to you. Okay, so overall, I think your organization and your development are pretty strong. Now let's take a look at your word choice, grammar, and some of those things. So you have some problems here. For example, you say the important qualities which a good roommate should, I would say here, not own but have. I would change that to have. And then you have, is one of the most mean things, you want to say meaningful things, not mean. So mean's the wrong word there. You want to use meaningful. So in that first sentence there, you have the word maybe have instead of own, meaningful instead of mean. And that's one example in that first paragraph of something you could do to make the language a little bit better. Okay, in the next paragraph, you say, for example, study is one of the most important things they need to do in universities. I'd probably say here studying, using it as a gerund, or to study is one of the most important things. Because when you're using it as a noun, you need to use, or you're using study in a subject position, you should use it as a noun. So in this paragraph, this is one example of something you could do to improve the language use. Now, and this was kind of interesting. Being informationful is not really a word. But we'll say this, being informative. Informative is an adjective. So if you want to change information to a noun, to an adjective, you want to use informative. So you could make that change also here. And let's take a look at the last part. You say, for instance, when you're confused about choosing classes and professors, if you have, I would say here, an informative will probably work better here. If you have an informative roommate, he or she can give you some correct advances. I would probably say here, correct information. So in the last one, in the next paragraph, you say good roommates should have the quality of being honest because it is not only the first thing of choosing, but also the most, probably here, meaningful point of making friends. Change that again there. And then you give the example, when you found your crackers, I would probably say here, missing, probably a better word. So this word I would change to missing. And then let's go to the last paragraph. Now, I'm not making all the corrections. I'm just giving you an example of some changes that you could make to improve the language use of your writing. You say when students have the chance to choose roommates, they should pick the ones who study hard, have new and useful information, and are honest. Also, if we want to find someone who has these attractive qualities, we should own these good features too, so we can find good roommates and have a wonderful environment to study, relax, and live. All right, so I made a few changes in there, but I'm going to be honest with you. This is actually a fairly well-written essay, right? I think you'll score pretty high here. Now let's take a look at the rubrics. So if you look at the highest possible score, you have is united, displays progression, has good connection, has strong grammar and writing proficiency. You may have minor vocabulary grammar errors. I'm going to say you probably don't fit in the 5 category because of this description here. I'm going to put you probably right. It says characterize having good control of language use, appropriate sentence variety, though you have minor errors with sentence structure, word forms. I'm going to say probably not in this area. I think because of some language use issues, I'm going to put you right at the top here. I'm going to put you at 3.75, 24 points out of 30. I think that's where you'll score right now based on what I see. So what can you do? Probably for you, you can improve a little bit with your vocabulary and also with your grammar based on what I'm seeing. So with vocabulary, you can keep focused on vocabulary lesson number 3, 4, 5, and 6. Learning those words will help you minimize some of the vocabulary problems and limitations that you have. And in terms of grammar, you can do some regular study over the next few weeks with my grammar lesson number 7. All right, anyway, thank you for completing the practice test.